Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Jan, and if you're new here, thanks for joining the gang, and if you're a returner, thank you even more for coming back. I'm Jan, and this is LaBay.
Hi.
And we have just gotten back from Jamaica. We're currently quarantining. We were away for 50 days, and a few people have asked me since being back, like, about restrictions and what it's like going from the UK to JA and back. And so I just thought I'd do a quick video explaining basically what to expect and how to prepare yourself best to travel to Jamaica during coronavirus. Shit is real. But anywho, we did a video while I was in Jamaica explaining what to expect in terms of quarantine, restrictions, no movement days, traveling vaccinated or unvaccinated, and the sound isn't great. So I thought we'd quickly refilm it just to get you guys up to speed, because I know a few of you are traveling to Jamaica and asking lots of questions. So this video is for you guys. What you do need is the Jamaican equivalent of a passenger locator form. What you'll do is you'll fill in a form and then they'll send you a code, and use that code to get your QR code. You can't get into Jamaica without that. So we needed it coming into Mobay Airport, Sangstar Airport from America, and we needed it coming into Kingston from London. I don't think anyone in Jamaica actually asks for it, but I guess it's so that the other country can kind of cover their own back. I will link that in the description box below. So I'd say your negative PCR test is what you need to fly out, your Jamaican approval QR code thingy, and
the address of where you're staying, because it's likely that they might ask.
They really want the address, whether it's a hotel, what they want, details, and
a number or a family member that you're staying with. So make sure they're all cool with that.
Okay, so our experience, we're not vaccinated. We got to the airport. On the other end, nobody actually asked us if we were vaccinated or not. Do with that what you will. And there was no asking, there was no checking in, none of that stuff. I don't know how they would check in. They didn't take a number. We didn't have a Jamaican SIM card yet, so there's that. And the whole time in Jamaica, because we were there for a long time, it was just shy of 2 months, we witnessed quite a lot of changes. So there was lockdown, there was no movement days, and there were curfews, which is still going on now.
So when we first got there, what they were doing was every day the curfew was 7 p.m. Apart from Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Those days were complete no movement days. You weren't allowed outside of your house. Then what they did was, from Monday to Saturday, these are days in which you could move around. Only Sunday was a no movement day. Saturday, 6 p.m. curfew. The rest of the days, 8 p.m. curfew, which means you get an extra 2 days to yourself, and then an extra, basically another hour throughout the week to do what you need to do.
In short, when we first got there was 3-day lockdowns anyway. If you're vaccinated or not, the whole country was on a lockdown. They call it no movement days, and that's 3 days out of the week. Every other day is a 7 p.m. curfew. I think that lasted maybe 2 to 3 weeks while we were out there. That was like early September. From there they changed it to a flat out curfew of 8 p.m, which was great. And that was Monday to Friday. Saturday the curfew was 6 p.m, and Sunday was another no movement day. So every Sunday is a no movement day. There's no going out. Every Saturday is a 6 p.m. curfew, which is kind of crazy, because we found like the day before non-movement day was hectic. Like the shops were rammed, people were closed. It completely just, personally I think it was pointless, because what you've got is people rushing in close proximity in a short space of time just because they know they're going to be locked away. So if there was going to be COVID to spread, it's getting spread anyway. And that's my personal opinion. You have to wear a mask.
Yeah, everywhere. They're really big on masks.
They're big on masks.
You can't go anywhere, or you can't even have conversations with people without wearing a mask.
I don't think they do exemption. When we've travelled, I might try and explain I'm exempt. There's no point.
They don't want to hear that.
Alright, let's get to the real no movement day. Okay, so we found whilst being out there that the no movement days are no movement days, but there is movement, if that makes sense.
It all depends on who you are and what you're doing, basically.
So there was a few indicators at first. We'd be driving on the radio, they're playing the COVID vaccine advert, and they're saying, oh, it's open, and every day it was open, but only no movement days. So it seems like COVID testing and vaccination areas are open specifically for no movement days. That's my theory anyway. And then he kept hearing cars on the road on no movement days. So
no, I kept seeing, because we were quite high up. I'm looking in literal Mobay town centre, and I'm seeing cars dart back and forth, and I'm like, hold on, this is whatever. So we sort of decided to brave it or whatever. Maybe we did. I will be honest and say, like, there's a few things that made me think, you know what, Yeah, I think it was the Glistening Waters trip that really made us realise. Like,
so tourist attractions are still open. We went to one of them. So Glistening Waters is somewhere you need to go at 6:30 onwards, but bear in mind curfew is now 8 o'clock, and we don't live close to Glistening Waters, so we were like, oh, can we kind of get a move on because we've got to get back before curfew? And the lady was like,
really nonchalant. She's like, oh, don't worry about it.
So I was like, what time do you close? And she was like 9. So we were like, how do you close at 9 if curfew's at 8? And she was like, you're fine. Obviously around us were only tourists, and they'd come with their tour guides from the hotels and their taxis and the chauffeurs and whatnot. And
most of them were coming out of tour buses, which is obvious that they're not really going to get stopped.
So this is when we're realising that no movement days applies to locals, not tourists, which is one of those unspoken rules that's kind of very effed up. So I would say if you're visiting Jamaica right now, it's a good time to go. There are tourist attractions that are open. The only really annoying thing is there is no consistency. So we went to St. Anne's for tourists like Duns River, Mystic Mountain, Dolphin Cove. They close at random times during the week because of COVID now. So there might be one day they close at 1 p.m, might be one day they close at 3 p.m, might be one day they just don't open, and it doesn't coincide with what they have on their website. So you really have to plan things in advance, call up every attraction that you're planning on going to, and just finding out what their specific COVID opening hours are. So it's kind of hard to plan in that sense, but if you're a tourist and you know to plan.
Speaking of planning, another thing you can do is the days where it's no movement, book an all-inclusive hotel for the time, and when you're inside the all-inclusive hotel, it's just basically like a whole little town. There's activities you could do, or you can eat buffets.
Going to an all-inclusive hotel, or just a hotel, during the no movement days, so that we could still be out enjoying ourselves and not locked down to our apartment, which didn't end up happening anyway. But most of you will probably be going to hotels, but if you are going to family and you want to visit a hotel, I'd say do it specifically during the no movement day. It's useful to have a car. We did get caught in traffic a lot of times after curfew. Police don't really stop you. I think if everything's legit with your car, they're probably not going to stop you, and if they are, they're looking for money. I did hear in St. Thomas there were a lot of arrests, because that's where we stayed initially. But in Montego Bay, St. Anne's, Ochi, Negril, Hanover, it was cool.
With the vaccinated people, what you need to make sure is that you have both vaccinations, and they're no longer taking those little cards. So you need to make sure that you have your email.
NHS offer like a QR code is what they were looking for in Jamaica. If you have a vaccine, you can go on the NHS website and get some kind of QR code to prove that you're fully vaccinated. You also have to be fully vaccinated no fewer than 14 days before you fly. But yeah, so that's vaccination, and I think you don't have to quarantine when you get there, innit? I think you just, is it 2 days you have to quarantine for? You basically have to quarantine for a really short period of time, or not at all. Whereas if you aren't vaccinated, you're supposed to quarantine for 2 weeks.
I think 10 days or 14 days. You have to do a little bit of research on that.
10 to 14 days.
But if you're not vaccinated, just bear in mind you're going to be paying more money. In the end, they're not going to pay for a day 2 and a day 8.
If you're not vaccinated, it costs more, you're saying? Yeah, I agree.
Very good. And what they'll do is...
shady. Anyway, so the main things to take from this are no movement days mean don't move mad. We went for little walks, we got our exercise. Maybe we did, maybe we didn't. May have gone for little drives. Also, no movement days and curfews. KFC, Wendy's, Burger King may still be open. You didn't hear it from me, but the fast food places
they do deliveries as well.
They do deliveries, but like certain places, like on a Sunday, the jerk pans are jerking on a Sunday if you go to that area.
All of this information is dependent on where you are in Jamaica. Also, with the PCR test, double check with your airlines. Read the fine print. So some airlines will want a PCR test, and some airlines.
Shit, you comfortable much?
Yeah, it's my turn now, bro. You better back up. So some airlines will want a PCR test, and some airlines will be fine with an antigen test.
A rapid test.
This is important because PCRs are £80, antigens are 59 or something. I think it's like 20 to 30 pounds less, which is not a lot of money, but when you're paying for tests on tests, then it adds up, innit?
That's right, breathe.
Yeah.
Okay.
And another thing is, if you're doing it maybe both ways.
Look at the disrespect.
Yeah.
Look at the disrespect. Man.
Yeah. If you're doing it both ways, that's £60, right? Which is another suitcase.
suppose. Oh,
It has a tendency to very easily do that with these little things where
They
they
add
have you
up.
trapped
They do
in the
add up.
airport and they're talking crap and they're saying this, that, and the other.
so most tests in Jamaica right now will be about $7,500 Jamaican dollars.
We travelled with British Airways and I
Don't travel with British Airways. They are trash. And if you're going to, don't do it through like Skyscanner or a third party. That little, well, it depends what kind of travel.
They are allegedly trash, innit? We've got to say allegedly.
No, man. I didn't like the way they dealt with us this time. I did not like the way British Airways dealt with us. So if you're with British Airways, have your I's dotted and your T's crossed so you don't need them for anything, because they are really not the airline that's going to help you. Emirates are the ones that's going to help you. Virgin are the ones that's going to help you. But British Airways, and I know those guys don't fly to Jamaica, but British Airways are stress if you need them for anything. In terms of the actual flight, customer service is great. But if you need them to change a flight, for a specific test, for question, for anything, they're not the one. So on your way back, leave more than enough time. No, leave the football. It's not a big deal to fly to the UK, but they will try and finesse you at the airport. They will, and it will be slow. And you will arrive 3 hours ahead, and it won't be enough because you'll be queued.
Make sure you arrive with plenty of time.
Listen,
and just travel with a couple of extra $100, because these little
Vex
things,
money. Have your Vex money ready, because they will get you Vex. To Jamaica is fine. Jamaica to Britain, leave more than enough time to fly back. 3 hours is just about enough. I would say go 3.5 hours earlier. If you're leaving from Jamaica, Kingston to the UK, 4 hours, man. They take long. So what they want to see is the passenger locator form. You have to purchase a day 2 and day 8 package before you come back. You're only exempt from this if you're fully vaccinated, and even the proof of being fully vaccinated, they're going to be iffy about. My godfather's fully vaccinated. They finessed him into having to take a test. Be about your wits, because some of these people are fully finesse tricks, I won't lie. But there are some amazing customer service people, but it's rare. At the airport, it's rare. So yeah, passenger locator form, day 2, day 8. Obviously your passport. If you can check in beforehand, do. It just saves you a headache. Day 2, day 8. Book from, is it Dante or something? Do your shopping.
Do your research and shop for prices.
Ours was about £70 each, where other people are paying £119 for one. And that's for the day 2 and the day 8. And yeah, that's about it really. I think if you have any other questions, just comment down below. Let me know when you're going to Jamaica, or if you went, or if you had a similar experience. And overall though, we had an amazing time, hence the glow.
Yes indeed.
We had an amazing time. Jamaica was great. Miami was great. Carnival vlog coming soon. And yeah, thanks for watching. Please like,
comment,
subscribe,
and ting.
Anyway, thanks guys. This has been Jan and LeBay. Quarantine stuff in Jamaica to be prepared for. See you soon. Bye. This is what men do, man. Just watch football and leave you. They leave you! Thanks for watching. Bye.